Hello, everybody.
Welcome back.
So, we had a discussion about grinding in between episodes. Oh, hello. And
Just chill on the ground.
I don't want to do any grinding off screen because I don't want anyone to die off screen. Mm-hmm. However, once we get to the daycare center in Cerulean City, once in a while I might put a Pokemon in there and, level them up through that off screen. Just so I don't have to catch a Pokemon that's like 8 levels under level and have to grind that up on screen. Because I don't want to...
That's boring.
Yeah, that's really boring.
It's like, we can make it as entertaining as we like by talking about things like pie. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Food. If that tells you anything about me. Also, it's getting close to dinner. And we were just talking about dinner. I'm really hungry.
I think I want to get Caesar up a few more levels, and I want to get Brimstone at least to the point where it knows Metal Claw. Then I'll battle the first kid in Brock's gym, and then maybe grind a little bit after that, depending on how I feel. Mm-hmm. Or rather, how we feel.
Thank you.
Yep.
I am a part of this too.
Yep. So let's get Brimstone up a couple more levels here.
It's gonna be so weird going into the first gym, not having a full team. Because I always like to have a full team.
I know you do. I'm the exact opposite. I like to... I'm not one to switch out Pokemon. If I catch something, I like to have it throughout the entire game, so I like to make sure it's something I like.
This is gonna be torture for you.
Well, no, my plan is to keep them throughout, at least most of them, throughout the entire game.
If we catch a Weedle, I'm sorry, but I don't care if we get to the end. We're switching it out for something better as soon as possible.
No, I want to take a Beedrill to the Elite Four.
No.
Aaron Hansen.
Yeah, I need to finish watching that series. I got like halfway through, and I had to stop for a while.
It's on hiatus right now.
Oh, I thought they finished.
No, they got to the Elite Four, lost, and then Aaron said, "Oh yeah, I'll do some grinding off screen, and then we'll try it." And it's been about 6 months.
Yeah. I think they mentioned it in like an episode of something else of like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, didn't you say you were gonna grind and you did nothing so far? Just spam them on Twitter. Be like, so how's Pokemon going? For a second, because we were talking about Twitter, I thought that Brimstone had like the little verified check mark next to his name. I was like, what is going on? I'm going insane.
Alright, we should be able to get some more XP here. Because bug-type Pokemon, although they're easy to beat, because of that, they barely give you any experience points. Mm-hmm. However, Pidgey are a bit tougher, so...
Murder them.
Yeah, we'll be able to expedite the process a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That probably shouldn't make me feel quite as good. Curb stomping something that's 10 levels under me. It's like walking up to a kindergartner, punching him in the face, like, yeah, what now, huh? What you gonna do? You gonna cry? Is the baby gonna cry?
I don't think a kindergartner is at the same, comparison rate. Maybe like a middle schooler.
Yeah, at least for our range.
Yeah,
it'd be like a middle schooler, 13-year-old punching a little second grader. Which unfortunately happens.
Please tell me you're not speaking from experience.
No. My school, we didn't have any physical bullies that I can remember. Ours was more, we're gonna make fun of you and demoralize you and make you think that you're a piece of shit. So it was a lot of mental warfare.
Yeah. See, my school was a little different. I went to a admittedly very, very nice school where we had an enforced anti-bullying policy, and Well, it didn't get everything, and sometimes it was a little stupid where it's like, well, you have to apologize to each other now. And it's like, it was stupid like that. But like, typically no one really had a problem with anyone else. You would hear like some racist terms and some sexist terms tossed around occasionally, but like, it was nothing more than what you would hear just walking around town.
Ironically enough, one of the biggest problems I had with bullies growing up was being a Pokemon fan.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was a huge problem actually.
That was how people made friends in my school.
Oh no, not in my school. If you were a Pokemon fan, that was basically having a giant target on your shirt.
Oh my gosh.
My group of friends, my best friend Adam and my good friend Dylan, eventually we got to the point like I think 7th or 8th grade where we didn't really care. We would bring our Game Boys to study hall and breaks, lunch breaks and all that jazz. And the bullies would walk up to us and little jibes like, what? You still play Pokemon? Oh, you're such babies. Hey Ben, look at them. They're still playing Pokemon.
Yeah, no.
Which is stupid looking back, but at the time, it was kind of hurtful. Like, please Metal Claw, please Metal Claw. Yeah.
Woohoo!
All right, I'm gonna bring up Caesar a little bit before we go in.
Yeah. See, the only time I can think of like any major bullying happening at my school, it wasn't really bullying so much as a fight broke out in the boys' locker room one day. And only reason why I know about this is because apparently the locker room ended up covered in blood.
Ugh.
And it was because one guy got this other guy's girlfriend pregnant.
Oh.
And they were friends. Oh. And in the locker room after gym class, he confronted him and like smashed his face into the urinal and like all this other stuff. And I'm pretty sure it was some of the football players.
Jeez.
But the guy who got beat up was the one who got expelled.
Oh, really?
They both took part in the fight based off of witnesses, and he had past infractions while the other guy didn't.
Oh, okay. All right.
So when I first heard it, I was like, why did the guy who got his ass kicked get in the most trouble? But it's because he had a history of fighting. Whereas the other guy, this was his first time, so he got a suspension.
There were a couple of major fights while I was in high school. One of which I was walking out of Spanish class, and two random guys just, here, let me set up the scene real quick. I'm walking down the hallway. There's one guy that's in front of me and one guy that's behind me, and they lock eyes, and then all of a sudden, they start locking horns.
Oh.
And I'm literally in the middle of it.
Oh, dear.
So they start punching each other out, and I have to duck and weave out of there and go to the lockers. And one of the teachers walks out of his classroom. Well, not walks. He runs out of his classroom to try and break them up, and they shove him against the lockers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because he wasn't a big guy, so he didn't, have too much physical leverage over them.
Mm-hmm. See, that actually reminds me of something. Like, there was actually a fight that, it wasn't a full fight, it was mostly two girls screaming at each other, and it was about to become physical.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to my one class, saw it from down the stairs, saw the circle forming, and I was like, I better go get someone. Now, the class I was going to actually had two different teachers, because it was a combined course. Mm-hmm. And the bigger teacher that would have been able to break it up easily wasn't there. The skinny, scrawny teacher who doesn't raise his voice, doesn't like yelling at people, was the kindest, sweetest guy you'll ever meet. Had to go break up the fight. Because I told him about it. But the funny thing is, he's a wrestler. Yeah, he does lightweight wrestling. And he's a DJ. And he is the coolest guy you'll ever meet. But because he's so peaceful, and he's just such a calming presence, he just kind of went down there and calmly broke it up and came back and was like, thank you for telling me. But that really scared me. I was really worried that, like, those two girls would start, like, wailing at each other in front of me, and I wouldn't be able to break them up. Because, I mean, like, thinking about it, like, looking back, if he had tried to break them up from a physical fight, he could have gotten in trouble for putting his hands on a female student.
Yeah. It's malarkey.
That's why our dress code was never enforced, because none of the male teachers, which there was actually a surprising amount of them, like, they couldn't say anything saying, like, your shorts are too short, or you can't have a crop top that's showing off your entire stomach.
Yeah.
So, we wore what we wanted, which for me meant, like, jeans and sweatshirts every day.
There was another fight that happened during lunch one day, and the guys and I had one circular table that we always sat at, and to the right of us were the rectangular ones that ran across the entire cafeteria. And one of them, two of the guys there, we started hearing their voices raising. And so we look over like, oh god, here it comes, it's brewing. So one of them throws his chocolate milk in one guy's face.
Oh.
So they stand up. The guy with milk all over him punches the guy once in the face. It was just a quick pow! That was it. And then the other guy threw another punch pow! Right after it. So it was
Nice sound effects.
It was just pow! Pow! Right after another, and that was it. And then they stopped. They just walked to the principal's office.
Oh my gosh. See, at my school, even just throwing the milk on someone else could have caused you to be suspended.
Really?
Yeah, we had because the senior prank, for many years was a food fight. It was tradition that it was always a food fight in the cafeteria. And so they set up a strict policy of, if there is any food thrown at any point to someone in, like, a way that's meant to, not just a, hey, here's an apple catch kind of thing.
Okay.
Because, like, sometimes you're sitting kind of far away from a friend and you're passing them food.
Alright.
Like, if it's meant to be, like, thrown at them, you would get, like, suspended. Which is why I never experienced a food fight, even though I wanted to.
Right? Like, I've always wanted to be in a food fight, but it never happened.
It's all TV shows, and it's like, this is supposed to be some big thing that happens in high school. And no. I wasn't able to. I probably would have hated it, though, because some of the food that we got served. Ugh. No.
I got lucky. My high school's food was actually pretty good.
Some people said that mine was pretty good. It really only started improving to where, like, I would eat it, being as picky as I am with
Yeah,
my
I was just
food.
gonna say, thinking about it, you're really picky cutie.
Yeah. But, like, we had options, so sometimes I would go up and get a bagel or something. But, like, during my senior year, we started this thing up called, I think it was, like, Sub Wednesdays or something. And we would get subs from Subway. Like, they would just have, like, already made up subs, and you could get them.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's why our school was, again, really nice. It was lovely.
Your school was one of those opulent schools that drew in a lot of money because of the theater program, right?
Yeah, because of theater, because of football. Our arts program was actually surprisingly good, despite the fact that a lot of funding went to the sports team. Like, we got a turf football field in, like, my last year there. And we actually had 2 buildings that we had to walk between. One used to be the middle school that they were like, we have too many students coming here now. We need more room. So it was made into the high school. And we built a new middle school. Because the 2 were next to each other. So they were like, alright, well, just walk up the bus ramp. It's really steep and really annoying, but they can walk it. In the rain and in the snow. When it's icing, and I fell multiple times. And the whole rumor that was going around school of, like, if you fall on the ice and you go to the nurse's office, you'll get sent home. Total lie. Yeah.
Oh, I have a hell of a nurse's story. So this is
Alright, we're gonna
First-
go over a bit.
Hmm?
We're gonna go over a bit, but I want to hear the story.
Actually, well, I'll tell you the story next time.
Alright, bye.